What are we doing here, hon?
This one I'm super excited about. It is a tomato comparison between where we came from, Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, to Springfield, Illinois. Really excited about showing you guys the differences in growth, the good, the bad. But yeah, it's been really revealing. So let's get into it. Okay, so last night I wanted to kind of check out our videos from Victoria. So I went back to our videos from 2022, last year when we were in Victoria there. And by chance, we actually planted on the exact same day last year as we did this year. May 30th is about the planting date that we planted both years. So yeah, what you're seeing here is from last year, May 30th. And one thing you'll notice is that our starts were really, really healthy. The other thing that's a big difference is our soil was much better up there. We did a lot of our own compost. The actual soil structure to begin with was much better. It was kind of like a sandy loam turning into a loamy sand. Yeah, so Victoria had a much better start. Okay, so what you're seeing now is me at the end of July last year standing in front of our tomatoes after exactly 2 months of growth. We babied these things. Every couple of weeks they got fish hydrolysate. We gave them worm casting. We didn't do the worm casting tea. Yeah, we really babied them. And the other important thing to note is last year the growing conditions were as good as it gets for Victoria. I think it's zone 8B, believe it or not. We had a scorching hot summer, very dry, very good for tomato growing. Okay, now fast forward to this year. What you're seeing here is the end of May, because our plants got off to a very, very rough start. There was a very unfortunate weather event just before we got here that really set them back. You can see the starts are much, much smaller. The other fact is we planted basically into straight clay. We did cover it with a little bit of compost and did kill off the weed seeds before we planted. The other thing we did was add a little bit of certified organic fertilizer and just kind of prayed. Okay, so exact same amount of growing time, 60 days, 59 days, 60 days. As you can see, there's a pretty big difference in growth. I think it was about here in Victoria, and we actually have some that have, at the end of this, have gone up. They're probably 8 feet high. So let's go in, and I just want to show you guys some really cool stuff that's going on. As I said, we have been double leading these plants, but some of them has actually been forking. So you can see the main stem comes out, forks off into one truss, and then actually forks again into separate trusses, and then we have 3. So off of one branch we have 1, 2, 3, 4 growing stems, which is nuts. Happens again on here, happens again on this one as well. Now, I've never grown a huge potato. Well, I haven't grown a huge potato, but I definitely haven't grown a big tomato. But you can see this guy. These are Abe Lincolns. We're in the land of Lincoln, and that's a pretty impressive tomato. Fingers crossed. Here are the Marbones. This is a F1 seed that we're really excited about this year. Definitely not a cheap seed. I did send some over across the pond there, and hopefully we can do a comparison. But this thing is loaded. It's got, I don't know, 15, maybe 20 tomatoes on it. We have another one down at the other end as well that we're pretty excited about. And so far, this is our biggest one. Again, this is another Abe Lincoln. Yeah, we'll see what this bad boy looks like when it reaches, and if it reaches maturity. All right, excuse the bird poop. The birds love sitting here. But as most of you know, we've been in the hundreds for, I don't know, maybe a week or so, daytime highs. But the interesting thing with a lot of these is that we're not experiencing the blossom drop yet. As you can see, they are forming small fruits here. One thing that we're doing is we're leaving the suckers go, because the suckers seem to come up and actually shelter the blossoms. I don't know if it's some sort of, nature design feature or not, but I would have thought that we would definitely be having blossom drop, and we haven't really seen it yet. Maybe that's something that's going to happen in the next few days. We're supposed to cool off, so we'll keep a close eye on that. Okay, so what kind of trials have I been up to? Well, this is the divide. So these 3 rows we've divided from this line here, front to back. All the ones behind me get a worm casting foliar feed every 2 weeks. Now I'm going to step that up to every week. The ones in the back get nothing. So all they've gotten was the teaspoon of COF when we initially planted. So what we're doing is we are keeping weights because we do have apples to apples comparisons. Yeah, it'll just be interesting to see if the weights kind of correlate, if there's a big difference, if there's a taste difference. But that's one thing that we're doing. So okay, so another happy accident is we were going to shade cloth this whole thing, but this thing reached almost the whole way, so we thought, you know what, why don't we leave it and just see how the plants compare from the ones that are under the 70% shade cloth to the ones that are just left of their devices. Now, it might be hard for you guys to see, but the ones under the shade cloth are definitely doing better. But by how much, we'll kind of just monitor that over the course of the year. This wasn't much to put up. They cost a bit. It's definitely cooler under there. We're seeing less leaf curl under there, but we will see less yield, or will there be a taste difference? We don't know yet. But that's something that, again, we do have an apples to apples comparison on that. So we're going to be doing the weights on those, and just kind of following it and seeing how much leaf curl, 107-degree heat without any shade for, what is that, maybe 13-14 hours a day does to the yield of tomato plants. Okay, the other real cool thing that we're doing is we're just watering the pathways. Again, I say it every video, we have access to high quality double ground wood chips for free. So we've just been loading this with wood chips. And yeah, we've been watering basically twice a week, even in this heat. We're not seeing any splitting or any signs of distress from the plants other than some leaf curl, but that's kind of to be expected. But yeah, just super happy with the wood chips and the tomatoes as a result. All right, just want to thank you guys for hanging out with us today. Yeah, as usual, we really appreciate you guys' comments and suggestions. We're definitely new to this down here. We didn't expect results like we've been getting so far. But yeah, I'd love to say it was, the compost that we laid down and then the worm casting tea. But looking at the footage from Victoria and knowing what we did for our plants in Victoria and the soil quality there compared to here, to me, and I might be wrong, it simply comes down to the heat. We had 2 nights ago, we had a nighttime temperature that was in the low 80s. Now that's Victoria's daytime high on a very hot day, and their nighttime lows range between 60 and 50. I don't think, rarely do they get above 60. So I think just looking at this, the wood chips helped, the worm casting tea has helped, the teaspoon of COF has definitely helped, but I think that the biggest driver of this probably the heat and us just kind of staying out of the way. So Yeah, if you guys got any other thoughts, that would be awesome. We do appreciate it. So yeah, wish us luck. We are picking quite a few every day, but we have some big ones coming, and we're really excited about that Marbone. If it tastes like cack, we'll tell you it tastes like cack, but we're really hoping it's going to be a good one. So anyways, thanks again. You guys are awesome. Stay awesome. Do you guys know if this is what kind of tomato this is? Excuse me, dill. Excuse me, dill. Crazy tomatoes.